Hi there, very good evening and welcome to the news at 6 here on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you all the day's top developing stories from India and across the world. Let's start with the headlines. Setback to the central government. Uttarakhand High Court sets aside presidential rule in the state. Floor test to be now conducted on the 29th of April. Hearing on the status of 9 rebel MLAs tomorrow. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat calls High Court's verdict people's victory. Congress claims it proves that BJP misused the constitution. In West Bengal, the third phase of polling concludes to decide the fate of 418 candidates in 62 seats. One person, though, was killed in election violence. And heat wave toll mounts across the country. Temperatures in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and West Bengal are expected to rise in the coming days. But first, the big story. In a major setback to the centre, the Uttarakhand High Court today set aside President's rule in the state. Former Chief Minister Harish Rawat was told to take a fresh floor test on the 29th of April to determine if he can continue as the head of the Congress government in the state. The centre could move the Supreme Court on the matter now.
Celebrations at former Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat's residence moments after the Nainital High Court quashed the centre's decision to impose President's rule in the state. The court ruled that imposition of President's rule in the hill state was contrary to the laws laid down by the Supreme Court, underscoring that this should be used as a matter of last resort. It has also ordered a fresh floor test in the Uttarakhand Assembly on the 29th of April.
As far as this President rule is concerned, that has been struck down by the division bench today. The division had dictated the judgment in open court and restored the position of Mr. Harish Rawat as on 27th March 2000 when the President rule was imposed.
Rawat called it a victory for the people of Uttarakhand, while the BJP claimed it held majority with 36 MLAs.
4 जबरदस्त घाव जो उत्तराखंड के शरीर पर लगे माननीय उच्च न्यायालय के आदेश से जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने थ्रेडबेयर सब चीजों पर न्याय दिया है, मरहम लगा है।
कोई आश्चर्य नहीं, क्योंकि 3 दिन से जिस प्रकार बेंच से टिप्पणियां हो रही थी उससे लग रहा था कि निर्णय ये अपेक्षित है। आज भी हम कह रहे हैं कि हरीश रावत अल्पमत में है। 29 तारीख को भी ये सिद्ध होगा कि वो अल्पमत में ही है।
The rebel Congress MLAs now want the centre to approach the Supreme Court.
मुझे लगता है कि फैसला सही नहीं है। राष्ट्रपति का जो आदेश था वो बहुत साउंड था, लीगल था, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल था। अब हाईकोर्ट ने एक फैसला दिया है तो मैं तो केंद्र सरकार को राय दूंगा कि वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाए और सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो है इस पूरे आदेश की समीक्षा करे।
Constitutional experts called it a historic ruling.
First time that a high court has reviewed the imposition of President's rule and as a consequence set it aside.
The state of Uttarakhand was brought under President's rule on the 27th of March, just a day before a floor test was to be held. The Union Cabinet made the recommendation to the President, citing breakdown of constitutional machinery in the hill state following a rebellion in the ruling Congress. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And reactions on this big news story continue to pour in. Here are some of those.
Never before in Indian history has 356 been invoked. We are confident that this deplorable process of devaluing, debasing and destroying federalism and democracy is arrested by this judgment.
What the Modi government is going to do now is yet to be seen. But it's very clear that on the eve of a vote of confidence for the government to take such a stand, it was very clear that the Modi government is trying to capture all those states where it is not in government by any means. And in this case of Uttarakhand, it was completely foul means.
But when they say the government has resigned, should have resigned, but if it hasn't resigned, then in such a situation, should not the central government have the right to explore 356 and impose 356 because the constitutional crisis was getting created there? After all, the appropriation bill and whatever happened on the 18th is clearly there. Those facts remain exactly where they are.
Meanwhile, Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu today called that the Goods and Services Tax Bill is the need of the hour. Naidu said that the government will try to convince the opposition for the smooth passage of the legislation in the second part of the budget session that starts on the 25th of April. Speaking to reporters, Naidu said that they had almost completed discussions with most of the parties. There were one or two issues that he called, in fact, were the need of the hour. And a day after the BJP claimed that the French Rafale fighter jet deal is finalized, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar had a different version of it. Parrikar said that the deal is not complete yet, although it is in an advanced stage and the government's intention is to seal the deal by the end of May. India has been bargaining hard with France over the pricing of the 36 jets, which will be bought through government-to-government basis. The original deal of buying 126 multi-role fighter jets with France had run into trouble over pricing issues, after which intervention by Prime Minister Modi and French President François Hollande was cut down to 36 jets in flyaway condition to meet the Indian Air Force's urgent need. The BJP had yesterday tweeted a picture saying that the Rafale combat aircraft deal had been finalized, quote-unquote, and the Narendra Modi government had saved over 21,000 crores in the renegotiation with the French government.
While the deal is in quite advanced stage and we intend to close it quite soon, still I can't say that the negotiations are totally cleared until we sign the deal, or at least the deal is forwarded to the cabinet for approval.
And I'll just get you all the election-related news in our segment Verdict 2016. Well, polling has come to an end in 62 constituencies in 4 districts of West Bengal in the third phase of assembly elections. Voters exercised their franchise in Murshidabad, Nadia, North Kolkata and Bardhaman. 67.80% voting was recorded till 3 p.m. One CPIM polling agent, though, was killed and 4 other party workers injured in Murshidabad.
Polling for the crucial third of the 6th-phase West Bengal Assembly election began at 7 amid tight security, with 62 of the state's total 294 constituencies going to polls. An electorate of over 1.37 crore was eligible to exercise its franchise in 16,461 polling booths to decide the fate of 418 candidates. Security forces were strengthened with around 1 lakh security personnel, including 75,000 central forces, spread all over the state. The Election Commission identified 3,401 hamlets in the phase as vulnerable. Based on complaints received from the electorate, 6,000 voters were identified as vulnerable, after which action was taken against 4,000 troublemongers. In the third phase, a total of 418 candidates are in the fray, contesting in 62 constituencies. The Trinamool Congress has fielded candidates in all the 62 seats. The Bharatiya Janata Party is also contesting in all the 62 seats. The left is contesting in 46 seats, the Congress in 26 and the Bahujan Samaj Party in 36 seats.
हम लोग जब वोट दे देते हैं तब तो सब अच्छा से सब बात करते हैं, पर उससे पहले जो हम लोग का प्रॉब्लम है वो तो नहीं होता है पूरा। अब तक जो हम जहाँ रह रहे हैं वहाँ पर मेरा ना बत्ती है ना कुछ है।
আশা করছি বাংলার উন্নতি হোক, আমাদের এরিয়ার আগে উন্নতি হোক, বাংলার উন্নতি হোক, এটাই আমি চাইবো প্রথমে। আর এই চত্বরে আমাদের অনেক কিছু উন্নতি করার আছে, কাটিগঙ্গা আছে, কাটিগঙ্গাটা করতে পারে, রাস্তাঘাট আছে, জলের সাপ্লাই একদম ভালো নাই।
Among the prominent candidates are state ministers and Trinamool contestants Rabiranjan Chattopadhyay, Shashi Panja, Sadan Pandey, former state minister and CPIM candidates Anisur Rahman, Debesh Das, Congress legislature party leader Mohammad Shorab and former state party president Sumen Mitra and Ritesh Tiwari from the BJP.
I'm fully hopeful.
Fully hopeful?
Yeah.
And
I do believe this alliance will overthrow this ruling government.
ओवरऑल चुनाव अभी तक ठीक चल रहा है और मैं जोराशको का कैंडिडेट के नाते जोराशको में घूम रहा हूँ। अभी तक कोई ऐसे गड़बड़ का कोई निशानी तो मेरे को नहीं दिखाई दिया।
With the third phase of polling coming to an end, the focus now shifts to the fourth phase of polling on the 25th of April. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed election rallies in Howrah district and Basirhat South in North 24 Parganas. Addressing a rally in Basirhat, Modi slammed the Mamata Banerjee-led TMC government, saying that she had neglected development in the state. The Prime Minister also claimed that even though the then BJP had only one MLA at present even though the BJP had just one MLA currently at the state, the TMC is asking what the party had done in the state.
5 साल इस अमावस्या की काली रात को आपने झेला है। अगर आपको पश्चिम बंगाल में विकास का सूरज लाना है तो कमल खिलाने के बिना कोई चारा नहीं मेरे भाइयों बहनों, कमल खिलाने के बिना कोई चारा नहीं।
And now on to our special focus on the drought crisis in Maharashtra's Marathwada region. Beed district is the worst affected, with wells, reservoirs and dams dried up completely. This is also a region from where the maximum farmer suicides have been reported. Now, Beed is the State Minister Pankaja Munde's district, and despite her recent drought selfies controversy, locals say that some timely steps have made a slight difference. Here's a report.
Grief-stricken family and friends mourning the death of Kailash Tilak Rao More. This owner of 16 bighas in Ronas village of Beed district ended his life on 11th of April, unable to pay his farming debts. More is one of the 55 farmers who committed suicide in the district this year. Some time ago, the government had acquired a part of his land for the National Highway project. The family had pinned its hope on the 42 lakh rupees as they were promised as compensation. But bureaucratic red tape prevented it from reaching them. Expenses that More incurred on his son Gorakhnath's wedding last month further swelled his debts, proving to be the final straw for him. More's story is shared by almost every other farmer in the village.
वो बहुत दिन से बीड़ को आ रहे थे, पैसे नहीं मिले इसलिए उन्होंने सुसाइड किया और उनकी ज़मीन जो जा रही है रोड में उसके पैसे नहीं मिल रहे थे इसलिए वो परेशान थे। 3 साल से बारिश नहीं हो रही है और खेत में कुछ भी अनाज नहीं पैदा हुआ।
Dominated by Marathas, the 1500-strong population in Ronas village includes members of all communities. It used to be a prosperous place once, but that was before recurring droughts for the last 5 years ruined the local economy. Fallow land and scarcity of drinking water have together crushed the hopes of the villagers. The lone hand pump manages to cough up water to fill up 4 vessels a day, which is why every household has installed tanks to store water. Tankers provide each family about 500 liters of water once every 8 days. To prevent fights from breaking out, the village panchayat decides the distribution of the water. But despite this, the water provided by the administration is not fit to drink, and women are forced to walk long distances for clean water.
5 साल हो गया बारिश नहीं, इसलिए खेती में कुछ आता नहीं, हर किसान को कोई पीक नहीं, कुछ नहीं, गांव में पानी नहीं, सब वो परेशानी में है।
यहाँ 8 दिन को 10 दिन को 11 दिन को एक बार ही टैंकर आता है ना, आता है तो गंदा पानी आता है। हम गरीबी लोग हैं, अभी कौन बोलता है ये करो वो करो, बाद में दवाखाने में जाने का पैसा कहाँ से लाने का, बताओ हम लोग को तो क्या करने का हम लोग ने।
District Magistrate Naval Kishore Rai admits the situation is very bad, but he points out the administration is operating a round-the-clock war room that's taking steps on several levels to overcome the crisis.
हमारा वाटर टैंक है, तकरीबन उसमें 12,000 लीटर पानी होता है और एक गांव में तो बोल सकते हैं कि औसतन 2 या 3 ट्रिप्स हम लगाते हैं, तो तकरीबन 1,500 ट्रिप्स है, तो इतने सारे टैंक्स के द्वारा लोगों को पानी दे रहे हैं।
In view of the water crisis, the local administration has provided 265 cattle camps in Beed. In all, about 2,65,000 cattle are provided fodder and water here. 80% of such cattle camps are located in Marathwada alone. Villagers say they are satisfied with the arrangements. 25 million people are facing the twin problems of drought and water scarcity in Beed district. While farmers and poor people are fleeing the district, authorities have stationed almost 900 tankers besides diverting water rationed from the city. But it's all proving to be an uphill battle against the rising heat and water scarcity. Arvind Kumar Singh's report from Beed district in Maharashtra for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, several parts of India continue to reel under severe heatwave conditions, with major cities registering temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius. While Odisha continues to top the list of hottest states, Vidarbha and Marathwada regions of Maharashtra are also not far behind. The Met Department, in fact, has urged people to stay indoors during the hottest hours of the day.
The rising mercury at 42 degrees and above is taking a toll in south and central India. Telangana, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh are the worst affected, with temperatures exceeding over 40 degrees Celsius in April. In Odisha, especially the western region, Titlagarh was the hottest place, recording 46.5 degrees Celsius. Schools were closed last week till at least April 26th. Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are also battling a severe heat wave that has so far claimed several lives.
बहुत तेज गर्मी पड़ रही सर, इतनी गर्मी पड़ रही कि रोड सूने हो गए, 2 घंटे हो गए, हम ऑटो चलाते हैं, सवारी नहीं मिल रही है, यहीं बैठे बैठे तप गए पूरे।
इस टाइम इतना एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था कि इतनी गर्मी हो जाएगी, पर बहुत एकदम मई जून जैसी गर्मी अभी से हो गई है।
धूप इतनी तेज है कि चमड़ी जो है वो एक प्रकार से जैसे जल रही हो, इतनी तेज धूप में, लेकिन फिर भी सरकारी नौकर होने के कारण सरकार श्री का काम करना पड़ रहा है।
Bihar continues to sizzle under the scorching heat, with the maximum temperature hovering around 43 and 44 degrees Celsius in various districts. The mercury also soared in several cities of Uttar Pradesh, with Lucknow posting 42.6 degrees Celsius.
गर्मी इतनी तेज है कि एकदम स्किन चिलचिला रही है और धूप के मारे घर से बाहर निकलना एकदम से मुश्किल हो गया है और आंखों में धूल, जलन, ये तो एकदम आम हो गया है और हमारे ख्याल से टेम्परेचर 40 डिग्री के ऊपर चल रहा है।
स्थिति तो इस साल इतना बुरा है सर कि अभी अप्रैल का महीना चल रहा है, अभी फूल का मतलब बाजार अच्छा है और पौधे सूख रहे हैं, धूप की वजह से, गर्मी की वजह से फूल सूख करके गिर रहे हैं। यही कमाने का टाइम, इसी टाइम वो बर्बाद कर दे रहे हैं मौसम की वजह से।
Delhiites experienced another hot day, with the mercury settling at 40 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, according to weather officials, Delhi and West Uttar Pradesh could have thunderstorms and dust storms on Friday. Central parts of India, including Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, will continue to have dry weather with almost clear skies. Not much change in temperature expected. Temperatures in Andhra Pradesh and some parts of Karnataka, West Bengal are also expected to rise, with heat wave conditions expected to expand in the coming days. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you more national news updates in Nationwide. 3 women activists of the Swaraj Sangathan were allowed to enter Maharashtra's Trimbakeshwar temple amid tight security, breaking a 300-year-old tradition. However, agitated local residents called for a shutdown in the town to express their disapproval over the incident. Security forces gunned down 3 militants in an encounter in Kupwara district of Jammu and Kashmir. Acting on a tip-off about the presence of 3 militants, security forces cordoned off the area and a gun battle ensued. Security forces also recovered 3 AK-47 rifles from the encounter site. The Governing Council of Terry decided to end its association with R.K. Pachori with immediate effect. In a meeting held on Monday, the council decided to release Pachori, whose contract ends in July 2017. Pachori's membership as the Governing Council member will not be renewed as well. Pachori was booked by the Delhi police on the 18th of February 2015 on charges of sexual harassment, criminal intimidation and stalking. With that, a quick break here. We'll be back with more news in a bit. Do stay with us.
My research sort of speciality is essentially signal processing. For a person who works on this multi-detector sort of strategy, I think having detected in India is fantastic. I'm more excited is to see this kind of a system which we never expected.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Archana Pai, Assistant Professor, IISER Thiruvananthapuram, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. International news, and the death toll from Saturday's magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Ecuador crossed 550 by Wednesday evening, surpassing an unwanted milestone in the worst disaster the country has seen in decades. President Rafael Correa has now introduced new measures to try to pay for rebuilding, including a one-off tax on millionaires. Here's a report.
The human cost of last weekend's earthquake in Ecuador continues to mount. On Wednesday, the number of people confirmed to have died touched 570. In the devastated coastal town of Pednale, an elderly man sat weeping in his doorway. Maximo Palermo, of Italian origin, retired to live in the house which is now in ruins, but he says he will stay. More people were killed here than in any other town when the tremor of magnitude 7.8 struck.
Esto no es de un día ni de un mes, pasarán años y lo más lamentable es de que estamos tratando de sobrevivir con lo que humanamente personas, digámoslo así, particulares, si se puede decir.
The authorities have been handing out food, but survivors say they don't have enough to eat and drink. Thousands of people have been forced to seek emergency shelters. Ecuador's worst quake in decades has prompted the government to announce temporary tax hikes. In a televised address to the nation on Wednesday, President Rafael Correa said there will be several one-year tax rises.
Una contribución por una sola vez del 0.9% sobre personas naturales con patrimonio mayor a $1 millón. Y se establece también el aporte de un día de sueldo para quienes ganamos más de $1,000 mensuales.
The country will also sell assets and may issue new bonds on the international market to fund the multi-million-dollar reconstruction. The president estimated that the disaster had inflicted damage costing $2 to $3 billion and could knock 2 to 3 percentage points of the country's growth. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you more international news updates in Global Buzz. US President Barack Obama and Gulf Arab leaders started talks in Riyadh on Thursday at a summit aimed at forging joint action on perceived security threats from Iran and the Islamic State and at ironing out strains in their old alliances. Obama also hopes to allay Gulf countries' fears over Iranian influence and encourage them to douse sectarian tensions in an effort to confront the threat posed by jihadist militants like the Islamic State. A massive explosion rocked a major petrochemical facility of Mexican national oil company Pemex in the Gulf state of Veracruz on Wednesday, killing at least 3 people and injuring dozens more. The incident occurred just weeks after 3 workers were killed and 7 injured when a fire broke out at the Pemex oil processing platform in the Gulf of Mexico. Japanese authorities began conducting raids on Mitsubishi Motors research centers on Thursday after the company admitted to manipulating test data to overstate the fuel economy in its cars. Mitsubishi has admitted that employees altered data to flatter mileage rates on more than 600,000 vehicles. The authorities have set 27th of April as the deadline for Mitsubishi to hand over the report on the inaccurate testing. Meanwhile, Volkswagen has reportedly reached a deal with US authorities to buy back up to 500,000 cars that cheated diesel emissions tests in the country and to compensate their owners. The German automaker is expected to unveil a proposed settlement to a federal judge in San Francisco on Thursday tonight. And Volkswagen will spend almost 900 million euros to compensate the owners of about 600,000 cars affected in the US. And now some quick cricket update. And the ongoing Indian Premier League faced in fact a new challenge after the Rajasthan High Court issued notices to the state government and the Board of Control for Cricket in India, the BCCI, asking why the IPL matches should be shifted to Jaipur when Rajasthan is also facing a drought-like situation. Countering the decision to hold IPL matches in Jaipur, the notices were sent to Public Health Engineering Department, Water Resources Department, the Sports and Youth Department and the Rajasthan Cricket Association. The court is hearing a public interest litigation questioning the decision to shift the matches to Jaipur following Maharashtra's water crisis. Earlier, the Bombay High Court had asked the BCCI to move the IPL matches post 30th of April out of Maharashtra as the state faced its worst drought in years. The Rajasthan government has been asked to file its reply by the 27th of April.
हमारी मुख्य दलील यही थी कि एक तो आईपीएल निजी कार्यक्रम है, बीसीसीआई और आरसीए उसको कराती है, ये पहले भी निजी कार्यक्रम में सरकार कैसे हस्तक्षेप कर सकती है। दूसरा ये था कि पूरे मैच की तैयारियों में करीब 80 लाख लीटर पानी जो है वो बहाया जाएगा स्टेडियम में, और मैच की जो दर्शकों की क्षमता है वो 30,000 है, यानी कि 30,000 लोगों के लिए 80,000 लीटर पानी जो है व्यर्थ बहाया जाएगा। जबकि जो जयपुर शहर की आधी से ज़्यादा कॉलोनियां हैं वो अभी टैंकरों के भरोसे हैं, वहाँ पे जलदाय विभाग पूरी तरीके से पानी भी सप्लाई नहीं कर पा रहा है। इन सबको देखते हमने याचिका दायर की थी, जिस पर नोटिस जारी हुआ है।
All right, that's all we have for you on the news at 6. Coming up next is Verdict 2016.